welcome back to First Impressions. I know normally this is Manda's show and everything, but we've been recording a couple episodes. You might have seen her Twin Peaks episode, which we started up recently, but I sort of have hijacked this show because we're doing a new show that I found that I wanted to show Manda. And as you can see, I sort of had, the roles have kind of been reversed here, and now I'm in control, and she's the one being exposed to the weird shit that I'm showing her.
That was cracked up, Dan.
The topic of discussion tonight is a show that I found a couple of years ago. It's a British show written by Charlie Brooker called Black Mirror. The premise of the show is, the best way I can describe it is, it's a British contemporary version of The Twilight Zone.
Yeah, that's pretty much spot on right there. Yeah.
It's a bunch of self-contained episodes that tell stories that deal with the themes of what happens when, you know, our modern technology, i.e. social media, touchscreen technology, gamification technology, gets to the point where it starts to become, it's already at the point where it sometimes can cause problems. But what happens when, you know, we take a closer look at what those things could eventually turn into?
And I know what you're probably thinking right now. You're probably thinking like, yes, we've seen this before. We've seen that like technology is going to ruin us all plots, but this show does it really well.
You look so distraught.
I am distraught. Before we get into like the nitty-gritties of the episode, I feel like this is kind of the tone that the show takes, rather than, I'm not going to say, okay, it does beat over the head a little bit, but for the most part, the show does really well at just presenting, right? And just letting you make the leaps yourself. It doesn't try to say like technology's bad, it's super bad. It just sort of, it really does well at just showing things rather than telling you. That's
the best way I could.
It shows, it doesn't tell.
I think that the show is so, one of the best parts about the show has got to be the name of the show. The name of the show is perfect. Think about the title, Black Mirror it's called. Think about your smartphone. Think about your computer screen. Think about your television set. Every single one of those devices, see? You get the genius. When those devices are off, what are you looking at? You're looking at a dark screen, and if you look real closely, you can see your reflection in it. And that is pretty much the pedestal you need to just...
So we've only watched one episode so far. I don't know if it was the first episode.
It was the second episode of the first season.
Okay.
But since there's self-contained episodes, there's no through narrative or anything, it doesn't really matter what
all of the episodes sort of have to do with technology, you were saying?
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
They explore the idea of, you know, touchscreen technology. Social media is a big one, like what we'll get into in the episode that we saw. The advancements of gamification, like I was talking about, introducing like ideas that had their sort of origin in video game stuff and being translated into real life. And that sort of thing. And to wit, the episode that we watched is called 15 Million Merits. And a brief synopsis is, it's the, I guess, indeterminate near future where the world has degenerated into this kind of Orwellian sort of society where the working class people are just, you know, walled off in these cells that are just nothing but touchscreens.
Yeah.
All the walls, all the surfaces, everything is touchscreen.
And that to me was one of the most brilliant introductions of the episode. Like,
yeah, it just basically opens on a guy waking up in a cell and all the walls are touchscreens. Everything is a screen.
And a rooster comes out and he like waves his arm and the rooster on the screen responds to his movements. And I think that was a great introduction because it's something that I can actually see happening one day.
Yeah.
You know, like it's not out of the realm of possibility that people would have these.
We will no longer live in a world where people wake up to the actual sunrise or to like you know, farm animals and everything. No, we will wake up to a digital sunrise.
We don't wake up to farm animals.
Well,
now.
there are still people like we're city dwellers, obviously. But what I'm saying is, you know. Anyway, so the idea is that all the working class people are in these cells and they go to work by just going into this room and sitting on an exercise bike and pedaling.
Yeah,
nonstop.
so the one thing that's not explained in the episode is, by the way, slight spoiler warning,
yes.
we'll be discussing some of the stuff that happens because it just can't be avoided.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one thing that's not explained in the episode of why the bikes? Why, you know...
They actually hint to it because the bikes are powering everything. The bikes, like, they're using the working class force to ride these bikes, and they're awarding the working class with merits, which are the currency for everything, to do anything in the life.
So if you want food, if you want toothpaste for your toothbrush...
If you want to skip all of the ads that
if you
pop
want to
up
skip
on
ads,
screen.
it costs you money, which I hope that, like, nobody at YouTube or anything, like... watches this show because that would be.
I wouldn't be surprised if there are some suits at, like, you know, YouTubers.
And they're like,
oh yeah. Anyway, yeah. So like they're on these bikes, and as they ride these bikes and everything, they're earning merits for themselves, but they're also generating all the electricity that's used to power this. So they're basically like you're powering your own prison.
Yeah.
That's a common theme in a lot of these sort of things.
Yeah, and that's like a kind of like a lofty concept. I don't know how doable it is that, you know, 1 million people on bikes.
Well, it's like the Matrix. Think about the Matrix. You're powering your own prison. Like
somebody did the dumb math on that one.
Yeah, well,
whatever.
It is science fiction. The first half of the episode sets up, like, you know, it's this very mundane existence where we follow this one character as he goes through his day-to-day routine, and it's a super bland, mundane existence because everything is touchscreens, everything is ads, and, you know, there's not a whole lot of human connection going on. These people are just going through the motions, you know, not unlike, say, maybe your day-to-day grind, depending on how you live your lifestyle. Anyway, but anyway, he comes across, you know, it's just this regular dude, you know, and he sees a girl. There's, you know, a girl shows up.
So it's a girl.
A girl pops up on his radar, and, you know, he's kind of, you know, he notices her. She's a very pretty girl, and so he's kind of like, okay. So he tries to sort of come up with a way to approach her, but he's kind of shy or whatever. Eventually he does sort of take a leap, and they sort of start talking. He actually hears her singing in the washroom, and he sort of uses that as his awkward sort of stumble of, I liked your singing.
You're pretty voice.
So, but he happens to be clever enough to charm her and everything, and they get, you know, sort of be friends and whatnot. And he suggests to her that because she's so good at singing, she auditions for this completely nakedly rip-off of American Idol
yeah,
called
so
Hot Shots.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I don't want it and everything. And then she's like, I'm not good enough. Besides, it costs a lot of merits to get on that show.
So Hot Shots seems to be one of the only ways you can get out of bike duty, basically. Like, is to become a celebrity.
Yeah.
And you have to audition for it, though.
But you don't become a celebrity, like, by working hard and training at your craft and everything. No, you go through the American Idol thing, where you stand in front of a couple of judges, you sing, you dance, or do whatever, and then they just rip into you on whether or not you were good or not. And that's how celebrities are made. And if you're good enough, then you might become a celebrity and you get your own stream. If you're not good enough, then they just sort of recycle you down into the less pleasant streams. That are usually featured in a lot of the ads that pop up.
Yeah.
The streams are called Wraith Babes. You can pretty much guess where they're going with that.
It's an awful scene to watch, actually.
Yeah, like I said, the main character happens to have enough money that he can pay for a ticket. Like, he inherited some money from a family member and everything, and he just thought, you know, I'll do this one good thing, this one human thing. I'll do this something nice for somebody, and then we will have this human connection. And it's this first human emotion, like this first non-processed thing that he's ever done. So he goes ahead and he does it, and she takes a shot. She gets up on stage, she sings, and she sings wonderfully. But
like, you know, to the show's credit, she's a good singer, and it's true. She's not like a perfect singer.
No,
right?
no. She's a good singer.
She's a good singer. She's not perfect, and that's what the judges catch on. They're like, well, you're not really like pop star material, right?
Yeah.
Except they say it in much more blunt and awful terms than that. So it's interesting because this also looks like the way that they do it is that, you know, they give this promise to people, but really they're just looking to fill out certain slots. So you can see there's like a waiting room full of people waiting to audition, and really they're just like, for instance, they have enough singers right now. They're actually looking people for the Wraith Babe channel.
Yeah.
But they can't tell people that because who would agree to be on a Wraith Babe channel?
Obviously, she doesn't get to become a superstar and everything, and she ends up getting sold off to basically be a sex slave, essentially. And our main character is none too happy about that, so he decides to do something about it, and we'll leave it at that.
We'll leave it at that. So the one parallel I drew, because I saw somebody mentioned a Simon Pegg quote, and Simon Pegg was when a bunch of people were fighting over something stupid about Star Wars on the internet.
Okay.
And I think he actually made a very political statement, which was, guys, don't you realize, he's like, I'm tired of nerds. That's what he said. And he himself is a nerd. And he said, don't you realize that that's what they want you to keep fighting about? They want you to keep fighting about these trivial things and not to pay attention to these terrible issues.
Not only do they want you to keep
world.
fighting about it, they want you to keep talking about it.
They want you to keep talking about it. And this episode just like really hit it home for me, you know.
Yeah.
It was one of, because it is one of those things. It's like that's how they placate these masses, which is to get them fixated on this entertainment. And
that's really the reason why I wanted to show Amanda this show, because I've had that reaction at the end of every single episode of this show where it's just, you sit back and it just sinks in, and I promise you will, like 3 or 4 days from now, or like maybe a week from now or 2 weeks from now, this episode will pop back up in your head to one degree or another, and you'll be like, oh yeah.
Yeah, it makes you think. Like, I'm not going to say it's like, you know, the perfect commentary on like life and stuff, or where
but it's one of the better ones.
It is definitely up there,
because there are 6 episodes plus an hour-and-a-half long Christmas special.
God, that must be the most depressing Christmas special ever.
It is called Black Mirror White Christmas, and yeah, you will get, if I ever show it. It is not racist.
Okay.
Well, no, not really, but you will get to the end of it and it will shake you. And every single
the environment.
I will show it to you at some point.
It's the environment! Knowing our obsession with social media, knowing our dependence on screens, it's like one of those, it's really uncomfortable to watch sometimes.
Yeah.
And yeah.
That's why I love it, I guess.
Yeah, no, I'm on board. I'm up for more episodes. But so this is a little bonus, like, first impressions. That was my first impression of it.
Yeah.
Like, was holy shit. I think you owe me a Twin Peaks episode for that one.
Okay, well, yeah, we'll put you back in the driver's seat so I can be uncomfortable now. Keep your eyes out for that. It's coming soon, guys.